Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 402, the eBullet, November 2016. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at WeaversDepartmentStore.com. Head over to Weavers and check things out. They've got the 2017 Andy Griffith Show wall calendar. You need to get it. 2017 will be here before we know it. And they also have Johnny Lightning Andy Griffith Show squad car. Cool things. They've also got the DVDs. They've got Mayberry Deputy badges, all kinds of stuff for Christmas. Head over there and check out WeaversDepartmentStore.com. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations by listeners just like you. The executive producer of episode number 402 is Ken Anderson. So, Ken, thank you very much, sir, for supporting the show. And, Ken, we're going to be talking about him because this episode we're going to be talking about the eBullet. Now, who is we? Me, really. Alan Newsom, your host here for Two Chairs No Waiting. It's always great to spend some time with you right here in Mayberry. Hope you're going to enjoy it. So now some of you guys have probably already, you've already read the eBullet because it came out a few days ago. It's not brand new because we put it out. The eBullet hit the streets. You should have got it by Saturday. There was a lot of people's emails that keeps getting broken and can't get to them. So I'm always upset about that. But let me get some background music by the VW Boys at VWBoys.com. Great group of musicians. Head over there and check them out. VWBoys.com. Tim White, thank you for permission to use your music. And there's a little bit of Mayberry style music in the background. You've heard it before. There we are. Oh, isn't that pleasant? I love it. So, folks, we're going to go and hear about all the news that's fit to print in Mayberry from the Bullet. The eBullet. So, it's eBullet, the official newsletter of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. Oh, isn't that something you want to definitely be a part of? Guys, if you are not a member of the Rerun Watchers Club, you need to go and join and be a member because you can get this great newsletter sent directly to your inbox, assuming your spam filters don't block it. But if it does block it, you can go right here to imayberry.com and click on a link, and it'll take you directly to the eBullet. It's easy to get there, not hard. You can always do it. If you go right to the front page of the imayberry.com site, there's always a link there to the eBullet. You can see it. There's a picture. There's a word link. There's about 3 different links right there on the front page. You can't miss it. And then you won't miss an issue of the eBullet. Now, what is the eBullet? As I said, it's the official newsletter of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. And it contains all kinds of amazing information about the Andy Griffith Show and all the things that were going on around it. And one of those things is Floyd's Barbershop bulletin board and event calendar. That's right. If you want to know what's going on in and around Mayberry, that is a great place to start. You can get your eBullet and keep it on. Now, of course, you can check out anytime during the months. You can head over to imayberry.com and click on event calendar, which is a version of this exact event calendar kept up by the presiding goober of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club, Jim Clark. Jim does a great job coming up with all this information for us all the time, really. He puts it out every other month in the eBullet, and he also does the Weavers Department Store newsletter. So you want to check that out, too. If you can't get enough Mayberry, you can get both of those right in your mailbox. Let's get started here with some information, just a little bit, because, this may be old by the time you hear it, but maybe not. Even if it is, it's a little snapshot in time about what was going on in Mayberry. So from Floyd's Barbershop bulletin board, there's a few things you need to know that are coming up in the next several months. Karen Knotts, December the 3rd, she's going to be performing in Monroe, Wisconsin. That's right. Karen Knotts is bringing her Tied Up in Knots show there for the holidays. Head over to Monroe Arts Center. That's where she's going to be. And there's information in the eBullet. So you can go there and check it out. Link to the eBullet will be in our show notes. So you can go check that out on the event calendar. And there's some cool Mayberry things going on. Let's see. The Dillards. They're going to be in Elizabethton, Kentucky is where they're going to be. So you can head over to Elizabethton, Kentucky. The website is historicstatetheater.org. The Dillards, featuring Rodney Dillard, are going to be there performing on December the 8th. You want to check that out. If you can't get enough Mayberry and you're going to be in the Mount Airy area on December the 16th, Betty Lynn's going to be there greeting fans at the Andy Griffith Museum on the 16th of December from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. She'll autograph pictures for you. You can do all kinds of these things. If you want to find out more information, go to andygriffithmuseum.org. Again, all these links will be in the show notes. One last thing to tell you about that's coming up in December, because I don't want you to miss it if you get a chance. December the 18th, Rodney Dillard and his band, and Maggie Peterson, that's Charlene Darlin. You might know her. So it's Rodney, the guitar playing Darlin boy, and his sister, Maggie Peterson. Charlene, well, it's not really a sister, but they're almost family. They're going to be presenting a Mayberry Christmas at 7 p.m. at Freedom Hall in Johnson City, Tennessee. It's also going to feature our favorite, well, I hate to say that and hurt anybody's feelings, but my favorite Barney impersonator, David Browning. Hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings. It's my other impersonator friends, but David's amazing. David Browning will be also featured in the Mayberry Christmas, Rodney Dillard and Maggie Peterson. It's a great show. I saw it last year. I definitely encourage you to go. It's a lot of fun. So there's all kinds of other information in the eBullet about events that are coming up, but most of them don't come out until into January and February. So head over and check it out. One last thing I do want to mention, a couple of last things here, is actually we want to mention September. Okay, in September the 20th through the 24th will be the 28th Mayberry Days. That's right, 28 years. Mayberry Days. You can head over to mayberrydays.org. You can go ahead and get tickets because you might want them. You want to check those out and get your tickets in September. And the last thing I want to mention is October of next year, 2017, the 24th and 29th, Margaret Carey. That's right, Bess Muggins and Helen Scobie. Margaret Carey, she's going to be the special guest on the Mayberry Cruise 12. Mayberry Cruise of 2017. Wow. It's a 5-day cruise and going to Freeport and Nassau in the Bahamas. Leaving out of Charleston, South Carolina. First time we've done that. So, folks, again, if you want information about that stuff, head over to imayberry.com and click on the eBullet link. You can find it there. You can also go to the event calendar and find it. So we'll move on. Jim Clark does an amazing job, as I said, gathering information. And this information is news of cast and crew. That's right. He collects information about the cast and crew of the Andy Griffith Show and is able to share it with us. So I'm able to tell you about it. It's all in the bullet, and I'm just covering a little bit of what's in the eBullet. So definitely go check it out. So let's get on to this. Ron Howard, you might remember him, is Opie. Ron Howard made a cameo appearance as an estate lawyer in an episode of The Odd Couple that premiered on CBS November the 7th. The episode, titled Taffy Days, Taffy Days, like Happy Days, you get it, was a tribute to the late Gary Marshall, a friend of Ron Howard since Happy Days. Imagine Entertainment produced a Ron Howard directed The Beatles 8 Days a Week, the touring years, a documentary made in cooperation with the Beatles and their families. It premiered in theaters in September and then on Hulu the next day. And there is a trailer that you can click and link to if you go to the eBullet. You can get there. It's actually getting a little bit of Oscar buzz, by the way. And there's some great pictures of Ron Howard with Paul and Ringo from the Beatles right there. It's amazing. Great picture. Love it. So more about Ron Howard. Ron's latest box office release is Inferno. We've been talking about that in the eBullet as we've been coming up through here on the podcast. It's in the theaters now, including in IMAX. Since its October the 28th release, the film has taken in more than $200 million at the box office. Wow. So go check out Inferno. Great movie. Haven't seen it yet, but it's great. If it's made $200 million, it must be a pretty good movie. Ron and his Imagine team also are producing a 6-part sci-fi documentary series. A docu-series is what it's called. Docu-mini-series. It's called Mars. It's about the colonization of Mars, and it premiered on National Geographic Channel the week of November the 14th, 2016. Imagine Team is also producing a reimagined remake for Disney of their 1984 film Splash. You might remember that with Tom Hanks. This time Channing Tatum. I got it backwards. This time Channing Tatum. I can't speak now. He's been hooked to play a merman. So it's going to be a merman instead of a mermaid. You know, they're changing things around. Anyway, it ought to be fun to see. They're also producing a live action version of Curious George, or the Imagine Team. So that ought to be pretty cool. Now, more news from other people. This one about Rodney Dillard. Rodney Dillard announced at Mayberry Days in September that the current Dillards are finalizing a record deal with Elektra, the original record label of the original Dillards, all those years ago. There's no word yet on the release date for the album, but Rodney is pleased to be back at home again at Elektra. He and the band are very excited about this new album. It was another wonderful Mayberry Days, by the way. Beautiful weather and a great lineup of stars drew large crowds for the entire festival. For the record, the Andy Griffith Show performers in attendance at the 2016 Mayberry Days were Betty Lynn, Thelma Lou, Rodney Dillard, the darling boy that plays the guitar. We already went through that one. Maggie Peterson, Charlene, Ronnie Shell. Now, Ronnie Shell was on the Andy Griffith Show twice. Once as Bernie, I think was the name, of Furrier, and also as the director of the commercial that Aunt Bee was going to be in for Forrester's Furniture Polish. So he's also Duke Slater on Gomer Pyle, but Ronnie was there. Margaret Carey, who I talked about, going to be on the cruise with us, and Ronnie Dapo. Now, Ronnie Dapo, if you don't remember who that is, that's Arnold, the boy that pitched a fit and was spoiled and got his bicycle taken away from him. He was at Mayberry Days, and he was riding his bicycle on the sidewalk. It was just a mess. But anyway, he was there. It was great to have him. They were joined by in performing by family members. These stars that were there, and other folks that were family of the cast and crew were there as well, which included Karen Knotts, Laura Hagen, and Dorothy Best. Dixie Griffith, Andy Griffith's daughter, was also there participating in the festivities. And Clint Howard and Joy Ellison were supposed to be there, but they were unable to attend because they got actual work. They got some movie work and had to back out. So they weren't able to come. Another Mayberry Days favorite, George Spence, he was under the weather, so he was unable to travel this year. But he was at home in his North Carolina coast home this year. George Lindsay Jr., he wasn't able to make it to Mayberry Days either, but that's because he is in a Wild West show. Yeah, that's right. You can head over. There's a link in the notes there that's got a great article about George. He plays a character in this Wild West situation where his name is Rufus Leakin. I believe that's a comical play on words there, but his name's Rufus Leakin. Get it? Roof is leaking. Rufus Leakin. Anyway, George was busy doing that and was unable to attend Mayberry Days. And there's a neat story out there. Maybe I can get permission. We can share that here. There's a lot of great stuff that had happened at Mayberry Days, and there is a link in the eBullet for a gallery of Mayberry Days photos that were taken by Hobart Jones and Kenny Hoover. They're amazing pictures. You definitely go check those out. If you're at all interested, make plans to be at Mayberry Days next year. That's why I told you about it in the event calendar portion of this podcast. Karen Knotts has had a busy fall. She's been touring with her Tied Up in Knots show, and she has some more dates, as I mentioned, in the event calendar. Check them out. We're sad to report the passing of Norman Brokaw. He was the former chairman of the William Morris Agency and a pioneer in television agency's department, in that agency's department. He died at his home in Beverly Hills on October the 29th. He was 89 years old. He worked closely with Danny Thomas and Sheldon Leonard to package the Andy Griffith Show and other top shows like the Dick Van Dyke Show, Danny Thomas Show, The Real McCoys, Gomer Pyle USMC, Mod Squad, and I Spy. He was Andy Griffith's representative at the William Morris Agency. He was also the agent for prominent people ranging from Marilyn Monroe and Elvis Presley to President Gerald Ford and Hank Aaron. He received the Governor's Award from the Film and Television Arts and Sciences back in 2010. He is the only agent to date to receive this prestigious honor. Norman Brokaw is survived by his wife and 3 sons. So we thank him for all he did to make the Andy Griffith Show occur. So, folks, there's all kinds of information and that stuff about news of cast and crew. There's no new chapters of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club to announce this month, this 2-month period. Haven't been any more, but there are already 1,445 chapters that have been founded since it began. The Rerun Watchers Club began in Nashville back in 1979. Wow. That's a lot of chapters. So if you don't have a chapter in your area, maybe you can start one, but if there is one in your area, try to get in touch with them. Maybe they can help you out. And if you don't have one, there's always the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board chapter that you can join. That's our online chapter. And there's information there in the eBullet about that, or you can just head over to imayberry.com and click the newsletters link. It's there as well. Now, folks, it is November. So being November, I definitely want to talk a little bit about our merchandise update. I know we are brought to you by Weavers, and you probably have known because I've told you before, my wife and I are the ones that actually run Weavers now. We took it over from Presiding Goober, Jim Clark, and we're trying to keep the spirit of Mayberry alive through the same way he was. So hopefully if you get a chance to order something for Mayberry related for Christmas, you'll do it. One of the cool things to get, as I mentioned at the start of the show, is a Johnny Lightning squad car. Definitely want to get those. Can't get them anymore. They're hard to get. It's like a little Hot Wheels car. You definitely want to check it out. Go over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check it out. And there's also a Barney Sidecar Company sweatshirt. You might want to check out the sweatshirts. There's a whole bunch of sweatshirts. My favorite is, Floyd the Barber one. But, I'm prejudiced. And, of course, the 2017 wall calendar. You don't want to miss out on that. Get them while they're still available, and get them before the price goes up, because it goes down right after the first year probably, but then it goes right back up in about March because people start wanting them for collectibles. And don't forget to get the DVD, the Andy Griffith Show Christmas special that aired last year on CBS, the colorized versions. If you want to get it, it's got 2 episodes on it. Weavers has got them for about $15. You can go check it out. And something you can only get at Weavers is a Mayberry Deputy Badge. Now, it's a deputy badge. It's not exactly like the one on the Andy Griffith Show as far as, it's not that quality. It's only $10. One that's like the one you'd actually get, Barney actually wore, they're about $80. So, this is like a little tin badge you can wear and have fun with. So check it out. And folks, there's a really cool thing, I think. It's some Mayberry postcards by Mike Johnson. This is 10 different postcards, and each one has a different image on it. So I definitely think that is something you might want to get, because it's got a great artwork by Mike Johnson. Great artist. And you can get those. Anyway, so that's enough selling. Let's move along. Oh, and there actually is my favorite sweatshirt. Right here's the Floyd sweatshirt. I'm looking at it. So if you're on the video version, you're seeing it. But if you're not, head over to Weaver's Department Store and check out some of this stuff. Now let's move on to some chapter news. That's enough commercial. Chapter news. Members of several of the Andy Griffith Show Realtors Club chapters, including Mother Figure. That's us.
My Mother Figure chapter.
Here in Huntsville. That's me. Huntsville, Alabama, Mother Figure chapter. The Hardy-Eating Men and Beautiful Delicate Women. Yeah, I try to say it like them. Hardy-Eating Men and Beautiful Delicate Women. That's a chapter from Tuscaloosa. Briscoe of Mayberry from Indianapolis. You better put a Buckeye in your pocket and do the incant for a sore foot from Bessemer. $1.25 chapter from New Philadelphia or Dover, Ohio. And the Bobby Fleet and his band with the beat. From Wake Forest, North Carolina. And other Andy Griffith Show Realtors Club members. We just got back not long ago from the Mayberry Cruise 11, 2016 version, and which visited the Caribbean for a few days around Halloween. It's a great picture in there of us all sitting around watching the Andy Griffith Show in the theater projected on the big screen. A great time we had. The cruise included a host of Mayberry tribute artists who had the dilemma of dealing with what kind of costume you're supposed to wear at Halloween, which is a true statement, because do you dress up like, I don't know, did maybe Gomer dress like Gomer, a Goober, and the Goober dress like Gomer? You know, it was hard decisions. We just ended up not dressing up very much because we were already dressed up as characters. Anyway, Briscoe, Mayberry, and other Andy Griffith Show Rio Archers Club members in the Indianapolis, Indiana area met for a meetup at the Mayberry Cafe in Danville, Indiana on November the 5th. They've been gathering there most months lately, almost every month. They got time to breathe and got time to eat. If you'd like to know more about that, contact me at floyd@imayberry.com, and I can help you get in touch with Briscoe, because this is Briscoe Darling Bob Mundy who's dealing with that stuff. Blood Brothers chapter, that's the name of the chapter, in Macon, Missouri. Is that right? No, Macon, M-O. Is that Missouri, Montana? That's Montana. Anyway, in Macon, M-O. We'll know in a few minutes. They report that they've been gathering 3 or 4 times a year, and they play trivia and watch episodes and have a meal, and they're putting buckets on their heads to think of a new twist for their next chapter meeting in January. Okay, Barney chapter from Greensboro, North Carolina. They gather most months, including most recently in October. Their big Christmas party is coming up, and it's always a highlight. Oh, here's the big news. Barney chapter member Don Teague established the Mayberry Plate Fund. It does not to buy plates. This is spearheading an effort to produce an official Mayberry Affinity license plate for folks in North Carolina. It's a great cause. The proceeds will go to benefit the Surrey Arts Council, the sponsor of Mayberry Days, and the design is really nice. It says, "I'd rather be in Mayberry." So if you're in North Carolina, definitely go and check this out, because the deadline for getting applications is December the 30th. So they got to get enough interest to be able to actually get this license plate off the drawing board and onto cars. Our online chapter of Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board, it's called Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board is what it's called, helped to raise a whopping $4,990.25 at this year's Mayberry Day silent auction. It was spearheaded by Jeff Koontz. Thank you, Jeff, for all you do to do that. And he received the key to the city of Mount Airy during Mayberry Days. The auction features items that are donated by members of the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board chapter and other people that just feel like they want to donate and help raise money for Surrey Arts. Chapter members also provide, staff for the auction. People help out. All the proceeds go directly to support Mayberry Days. So thanks to Jeff and all the folks who donated for doing that. One of the biggest contributors, by the way, of Mayberry-influenced arts and crafts, like at auctions like that, is Dewey Lamb of the Shakedown chapter. And he reports that 6 members of the chapter were able to be at Mayberry Days this year, that everybody's still looking forward to next year's festivities. Jim Sherrill of Mayberry, where the living is easy and slow chapter from Virginia Beach, Virginia, was crowned the champion this year of Mayberry's highly competitive Mayberry Days Trivia Contest, the most coveted of all Mayberry trivia titles. That's exactly right. The World Series of Mayberry Trivia there at Mayberry Days. Great time there. It was his first time winning. He was congratulated by perennial top competitors Dennis Bill from the Mayberry chapter and Pat Bullens from the Barney chapter, as well as Mike Halvelin, who did a Sergeant Carter tribute this year that was absolutely amazing. We loved it. Folks, there's all kinds of other information in here. I do want to make some special recognition. We did this a little bit before, but 4 major Andy Griffith Show awards were presented at Mayberry Days in September, including the Andy Griffith Show, or during the Andy Griffith Show Rio Archers Club annual meeting. Ken Junkin presented both Christy McClendon, that was Andelina, Darlin Walsh, our tribute artist, and Keith Brown, Colonel Harvey. He's a member of the Trivialities, by the way, with the Mayberry Friendship Award. So congratulations to them. And also during the meeting, Jim Schwenke Memorial Award was presented to Ken Anderson of the Mayberry Memories chapter in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Ken, in his Mayberry uniform, travels with his Mayberry squad car replica throughout Wisconsin and nearby parts of the upper Midwest, spreading the Mayberry joy and raising money for a local public library. He's nicknamed the Mayberry Guru, and there's a bunch of information about him there in the eBullet. So go and check that out. Congratulations to Ken. The Jim Schwanke Award is a truly amazing award. And there was a third presentation this time. Well, I guess, yeah, third is right, the final award. And it comes from Terry and Ron Quincy of the We're the Cats chapter from Fort Erie, Ontario. And this year was the third recipient of this award, by the way. Third person was to receive it. And it went to Alma Venable, also known as Aunt B, the owner and operator of the Mayberry Motor Inn and member of the Mayberry Hotel chapter from Mount Airy. So Alma, congratulations to you as well. And thank you to Al Gandolfi of There He Goes chapter in Titusville, Florida, for the production of these awards. So folks, there's more information out there. There's information about the iMayberry community. Definitely want to encourage you to do that. A lot of this stuff you guys already know. There's podcasts, including this one, but there's also Burke on Mayberry and the Mayberry Bible Study podcast. Now that one is one I do, but I haven't put out an episode in a while. I got 2 episodes in the can. I've just got to get them published. So if you like the Mayberry Bible Study, there are 2 episodes coming someday. But there's 11 out there for you to go and listen to currently if you haven't heard them. So folks, that's where we're going to draw the line here. I want to thank Jim Clark for all the work he does in this. There is more information. I didn't even cover it all, but we're a long way into this. Hope you guys enjoyed that. It's always fun to just be a little bit of a part of Mayberry and see what's going on in and around the Andy Griffith Show. And, just to catch up and take a little snapshot in time. So thanks to all of you who were able to contribute to the eBullet. Thanks to those of you that have stuck through and listened to this. Head over to Weavers and pick up some of your favorite stuff. And I would love to hear from you. So you can give me a call at 888-684-8415. You can email me at floyd@imayberry.com, or you can just click the little leave a voicemail link there at 2 Chairs No Waiting. You can do that. There's all kinds of ways. Find a way to talk to me. I love to hear from you. We got some good stuff coming up in the next several weeks, I believe, for here on the podcast. So hope you will join us. And I want to thank you for being here again tonight. And we'll see you next time right here on 2 Chairs No Waiting. Have a great week.